In this Gadget Talk video, we'll be going into a more specialized area to look at a specialized gadget. I recently reacquired a ham radio license after letting one lapse many years ago. One of the things that's become a bit more difficult than I remembered is setting up a HF station. That difficulty mainly comes in the form of homeowner associations' prohibitions on antennas. Laws were changed a few years ago prohibiting HOAs from banning antennas for over-the-air reception of TV and radio signals, but unfortunately the definitions in the law did not include amateur radio transmissions. Hobbyist groups have lobbied for changes, but they simply don't have the clout that developers and realtor groups have. As a result, hams have been forced to hide antennas as the primary issue has been the aesthetic concerns. Despite the fact that most hams don't have 80-foot towers with huge beam antennas, unfortunately, that's the perception. Rather than hide a permanent antenna, I decided to use a portable antenna and simply plan a few extra minutes of hobby time to set it up and take it down. Also, portable antennas provide the opportunity to toss it in my RV and take it along on a camping trip for a little portable operation. Enter the Buddipole. Buddipole antennas have been around for quite a while, so they are certainly not new. They do meet the requirement of being easy to assemble and disassemble, and they are definitely portable. For a new ham in an antenna-restricted location, on paper at least, it should meet my needs. The Buddipole Deluxe package includes a tripod, an extendable mast, various connectors, coils, and coax, as well as some extensions to form the antenna. The antenna can be set for 9 different bands from 2 to 40 meters by adjusting both the physical and the electrical length of the antenna using telescoping whips and coils. The primary center connector, called the Versity, can be used to vary the slope of the antenna arms as well as configure the antenna as a vertical antenna using a counterpoise or as a Yagi with optional available parts. Let's take a look at what you get. So let's take a look at what comes in the kit. You can see it's about 20 inches long or so. It's got hooks on the outside for a strap that comes with it that you can sling it over your shoulder. It'd also fit in a backpack if you were going to be taking it out with you. And it really doesn't weigh too much, 5 or 6 pounds perhaps. But let's take a look at what's inside. First we've got coming out is a bag that rolls up, and it's got some stuff in there that we probably need to take a look at. So let's undo the Velcro. On both ends of this. And this contains the long parts of the antenna. So we've got 2 of the arms that will be going into the Versity that I described to you. I'll show you it in a minute. Got 2 of those in there, in this one. In this little sleeve, we've got the extendable whip antenna parts here. So we've got those. So you can see I ordered black. They come in white or black. And there are 3 of them in there. One of the things that I ordered that was extra, if you see it, it's called these little brass knurls, K-N-U-R-L-S, basically, to give it a little strength here. And basically they just screw on. So you can see that the aluminum is pressed against this fitting, and then by setting this over the top and screwing it on, it just gives it a little more security. So it's 2 of those, I think, were like $13. And then the third whip is here, and I've got that little knurl on that one as well. In this third area, we've got the clips These are used for mounting on the coils, basically to short the coil, to help it become electrically the right length for the frequency band that you're hoping to use. So those are the clips. They're in the bag. I notice there's an extra couple that come with it, so that's handy. And then the other thing here is this Versa-T fitting that gives you the opportunity to plug in the coax into one of these, into two of these three different fittings, depending upon how you have your antenna set up. On this end, you can put the extension arms here, and then there are a couple of other silver parts that I'll show you in a moment that fit into these. These are the things that would allow you to change the direction of the antenna a little bit. So we'll look at that in just a minute. And then the last thing are the coils themselves, and they're just screwed together, and they are marked with green and red on the coils, which will give you an indicator. Here it's black and blue, where you want to short the coils out to get the length electrically for the antenna that you're going to be planning to use, whether it be 10 meters or 20 or 40, whatever it is. And so we'll look at that again when we set it up outside. So that's what comes in this particular part of the set of the bag. Also comes with 25 feet of coax. This has got a BNC connector on it and a little piece of Velcro for a little stability against the mast, so that it doesn't bend so much and wear out and break. And then on this end, again, it's a BNC with a 239 adapter on it, or a UHF adapter on it. So that's the coax that comes with the set. There's a loose end here. Here are the arms that fit on the end of the Versa-T. If you want to change the direction of the antennas, they have little clips or tits, if you will, that fit into the holes here on the Versa-T, so you can adjust them in a number of angles. So that's all here. Here are the extra clips. So that's in that particular package. And then the other thing that's in the bag here is something that I ordered separately, and that is a wire winder with some wire on it, and then a little wire connector that you can connect to the Versa-T. And that is, if you wanted to mount this as a vertical antenna, this wire could then be used as the counterpoise. And so that was also an additional charge, but something you might want to think about if you think you may end up working portable and wanting to try it as a vertical antenna sometime instead of in its kind of dipole standard configuration. So the last two things have to do with getting it all set up, and that includes this large, really pretty heavy-duty tripod. You can see that it has extendable legs here. Loosen them and you can bring them out. And so you can get a pretty good height just on the tripod itself. It's aluminum. It feels pretty sturdy for a portable kind of tripod, and it fits handily in this bag, so that's pretty nice. And then last but not least of the parts that we need to talk about is the mast, and it's got 6 extensions that you can rise, so you can put this in the tripod and then extend these up with the Versa-T screwed in here at the top. And so we'll look at that a little more carefully when we get it outside as well. This should go up about 9.5 feet. And that should be fine for what it is we want to do. Again, I'm trying to keep it on the down low, kind of out of sight, and just up when I'm going to be using it here at home. But then getting it, 10 or 12 feet up in the air when I'm working portable. If I'm out camping, this should be fine for a little casual use in that regard. So those are the pieces and parts, with the 2 extra parts that I ordered. Another extra part that you may want to consider, I chose not to, but it also has a guy wire kit that has a plate that will fit over this mast, and then 3 wire holders like this, like this one here with rope on them that you can guide the whole assembly down if you're out while it's a bit windy. So that's what we've got. With the parts overview complete, let's take this outside and set it up in its primary dipole configuration. Okay, so we're out here in the side yard ready to put this all together. We're going to start with the tripod here. Again, we can extend the legs. I'm going to do that, get them tightened down. The variability on these legs is what's going to allow you to keep them level too if you happen to be on some uneven ground. The ground here is not uneven. So we've got the tripod set right here, and we can get that down to the level we want. Got an airport nearby. I don't know if you can hear the airplane flying over. Waiting for them to disappear would just about be impossible, so we'll just deal with them. So we've got the tripod set. The next step we're going to do is we're going to lower the mast into the hole. And there's a little hole down here, and so I'm going to put that into the area here as we bring this up to get it to fit. Okay, so with the mast mounted, I'm going to go and raise this first mast up a little bit and then tighten it so I've got it right here where it's easy to work on. So the first step is going to be to get the Diversity with the large open end onto the threads here. Turn that so it's facing you. Okay, I'm going to set this one up for 20 meters. So it calls next for the arms to go on. So we're going to screw the arms on. These are great big wide threads, so they should go on easy. If you're having to force it, you've got it cross threaded. Okay, so those extension arms are the next things on. Next on the diagram are the coils, and it calls for the coil, the red coil, to be on this side. So we're going to screw in the coil. Nice, just snug. The black and blue coil is going to go on the other side. Okay, that's there, nice and snug. Next, we're going to take the expandable whips next. I'm going to use one of them that's got this little extra brass piece that I put on it to give it some additional strength. Got that one on there, perfect. Got the other one over here. That's perfect too. Now I'm just going to reference the chart that comes with the Buddipole. For 20 meters it calls for 4.5 sections, 4.5 sections out on the red side and 6 sections out on the black side. So this is the red side, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5, so 5.5 would be about right there. So I'm going to push that back in. So that's 4.5 sections on the red side. And then double check. 6 on the black side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Double count again here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, did that wrong. Forgot to count that one. Let's bring that in to about there. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4.5. So I've got 4.5 on that side. Now these little taps are the next thing that we're going to be putting on. And they're just going to plug into where I have the taps on the coils mounted. The instructions are really clear on how those go. And so on the red side, it goes in green. That's 10 back. So I've counted 10 back. So I'm going to plug that in. And then over on this side, it goes so on this side it goes on the blue one with his 15 coils back. So we've got it right there. So now I've got the antenna the right length, using some physical aspects of it here and then also some electrical aspects here with the coils. Now we're just about done. There's really not a lot that goes on to this, so let's move ahead to this next step. We're going to be disassembling this cable that came with it, and I'm going to undo it from the various kind of pressure points. They've got these little Velcro straps on to keep it safe and working the way it's supposed to. So we've got it done, and then the main Buddipole is right there. So the next step is going to be to attach this end to the Versity connector. And so with this, we're going to connect the red to the red side. These are just little banana plugs. And we're going to connect the black to the black side. And then we're going to take this piece of Velcro and we're going to wrap it around to give it just a little extra support, so we don't have it all just pulling on the connectors, but there's some support from the mast itself. So now we've got that pulled on there. So we're in pretty good shape, and for all practical purposes now, we've got the antenna set up. We just need to raise the mast, and so that'll be our next step. Okay, so really the next step we have is just to raise the mast, and so we'll loosen these, pull it, tighten, pull up the next section of the mast, and tighten, pull up the next section of the mast, tighten, and just work our way up. And that's our last section. And so from the bottom of the mast, it should be about just a little under 10 feet. And then we've got this about 2 feet off the ground. So we've got the antenna probably at about 12 feet. So at this point, I think it's time to connect the antenna to the radio and see what kind of reception we have. So after getting the Buddipole set up per the instructions, I connected an antenna analyzer to validate the antenna resonance and the SWR. Using just the measurements listed for the 20-meter band, I ended up with an SWR of 2.0 using an eyeball approach to the 4.5 units of extension on the red side of the antenna. The black side called for all 6 extensions to be pulled out for 20 meters. I measured the FT8 frequency of 14.74 megahertz. Trimming with the antenna analyzer, I shortened the red side by about 1 inch and got the SWR down to about 1.6 at that same 14.074 megahertz. Connected to an older Yaesu FT100 rig with a SignalLink sound card and WSJT-X software, I was able to make contacts in Brazil and Hawaii using FT8 with about 30 watts of power. PSK reporters showed that my signal had been heard all around the US and into South America, as well as Asia's Pacific coast. I've still got some experimenting to do and some FT8 strategy to figure out, but it appears that the Buddipole is a reasonable solution for folks like me with HOA restrictions to deal with. I'm looking forward to packing it into my RV and getting some portable work done. If you found this video helpful, please click on the thumbs up button below the video and consider subscribing to the Gadget Talk channel. Click on the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching.